first I would say is that Japan is very systematic. So everything is done on time.
So normally people go to US or Europe for their masters, right?
Yeah.
So why did you particularly choose Japan for your masters?
I received a monthly scholarship from Hiroshima University and as well as Hiroshima Prefectural Government. When I was in India, I was very dependent on my parents.
Hello viewers, welcome back to our channel. Today we have Mr. Pavitran here with us. He is our board member and a designer for our channel 1 Minute Motivation. He holds a master's degree from Hiroshima University, Japan. He graduated from Anna University in manufacturing engineering in the year 2020. So welcome Pavitran. Okay Pavitran, so can you talk a bit about your family background and what inspired you to do your masters in Japan specifically?
Okay, so it's going to be a long answer.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so first I'll start with my family background.
Right.
So I come from a middle class family. My mom is a retired Tamil teacher and my dad is a retired accountant.
Okay.
So per se, we didn't have enough money, I would say, for doing masters in Europe or UK or US, wherever it is. And but during the COVID, I realized that I need to get out of my comfort zone. That I was living in a small bubble, and I wanted to explore my full potential.
Mm-hmm.
And for doing that, I thought that the first step would be is to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was searching for a lot of opportunities to be independent. And first thing that came was to either do masters or work in some other city that's not near the hometown. And I didn't get the job opportunities at that time. It was because due to the COVID, the market was really bad. So I thought, okay, let's just do masters. But for that, we need money, right?
Yeah.
And I tried approaching a lot of banks, but we didn't have enough collateral to get loans.
Right.
And that is where I approached some of my seniors, and they gave me this details about this scholarship program in Hiroshima University. And then I approached the university and I saw some details about it. And I came to know about the MOU that Hiroshima University had with Anna University. And I tried to make use of it. And by chance, I would say, I'm not going to say that I gave my 100%. But I tried my best to reach to a lot of professors. And yeah, that's how I ended up doing masters in Japan.
Great. That's nice to see. So can you please share the process and the procedure that you had to follow in order to apply for universities in Japan? Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said before, I applied to Hiroshima University through the MOE program from Anna University, and I think a lot of specifically Hiroshima University and lot of other universities in Japan have signed MOUs in Indian universities. So if you are someone who wants to do masters in Japan, I think I would say the first step would be to check your website, your college website. Check if they have any international relations with other universities in Japan, and I think most of the universities might have, and just try to approach. Just look into the MOE program. So in my case, I after knowing about the MOE program, I approached to a lot of seniors who went through the program. I got some details about how to apply, and so basically in Japan, the masters that we do is masters by research.
Right.
So I think you might know that.
Yeah.
The thing is that masters in US and Europe, I think you would have to do by doing a lot of courseworks and all. But whereas in Japan, you have both the options. But in most of the case, you will be doing masters by research. So in 2 years, you will be spending most of the time doing research than coursework. Right. So in order to do that, you have to be associated with the lab. So your first step would be to fix which university you want to do or which course you want to take. Which course you want to do research in. Once you fix that, try to approach to a lot of professors in the specific universities. Approach them via mail. Ask them that why you just tell them that why you are interested to do research under them, and say what motivated you to do research under that specific fields. After giving all those things to them, and you just try to be as genuine as possible. And once you send that mail to that professor, they will look into it, and if they have any availability in their lab, if they have enough funds in their lab, they will be okay. They'll reply okay that I'll accept you as a student or something like that. So once they give that green signal, you can actually proceed to the next step. That is nothing but the application procedure for the university.
Okay.
So in the application procedure, you will be asked to mention which department, which laboratory, and under which professor you will be doing your research, your masters. You have to give all the information, and you also have to give the research title. It's a tentative one.
Okay.
Most of the universities follow the same.
I think they call it research proposal, right?
Yeah, it's called research proposal. You have to give a proposal, just give a small title and then the short description about the research. And once you do that and attach other necessary documents along the application, once you submit that, I think there will be a specific date that university will tell the results. So once you know the results, I think you can proceed with the visa procedures. I think it's not, I mean, compared to US and UK or Europe in general, or Australia, I would say applying to Japan, of course it's not going to be easy, but then once you know what you want, if you know in what field you want to do research, if you have the strong interest in you, I think it would be comparatively easy to get a seat in Japan University.
Gotcha. I think this will be very useful for people who are aspiring to their masters in Japan.
Yeah.
So I think they can follow the procedures that I have mentioned.
Sure. So and one more thing that I missed earlier is that once you apply to the university, there will be a specific date that will be allotted for you. There will be a short interview. Most likely your professor and some other panel members will be there. So they will interview you. They'll ask you some basic questions about your research proposal and your background in general. And if they are satisfied with your profile, some professors might even give you some small exams to make sure that you're the right suit for their laboratory.
I think that's applies mostly for the top public universities like.
Yeah. I would say.
I think I think when you go through the MOU, there is no examination, I guess, right? Or
I think despite going by MOU or without going in a private college, I think interview is like that procedure is like very common across Japan.
No, I mean the examination.
Exam is not specifically. It depends upon the professor.
Right. Okay.
So if your professor, because some might even have written exams, some might have some digital exam and all.
Okay.
But it still depends upon your professor. Some might just ask you to do some normal background about just do some presentation sort of things. But yeah, it still depends upon your professor.
Okay. Nice. Like in many of the people, they'll have this thought or this doubt in their mind, right? So what kind of financial support do we need, and what kind of financial hardship did you face, and if yes, how do you overcome that, and how was it?
Okay, to answer your question, since I went through a MOU program, it came with a scholarship. So it was a scholarship program. So I received certain amount as scholarship every month, and in order to pay my semester fees, I had to save some a part of my scholarship, and I used the rest of the money for my day-to-day expenses. In addition to that, I also did some part-times, and which helped me to save more. And I just tried to manage the money that I had, and with enough savings, I was able to pay my semester fees for every semester. And also, most of the public universities in Japan, they have fee waiver programs.
Okay.
So if you are in a part of, and I think most of the private university also have, so you just have to apply for scholarship, fee waiver, tuition fee waiver, and semester fee waiver, or exemptions. Sometimes you might get 50% waiver, sometimes you get 100% waiver. So fortunately, I received a 100% waiver in my last semester, so which really helped me a lot, I would say. And so basically I just did a lot of part times.
Right.
I'll just go like 3 days per week. I'll just do my part time for like 8 hours. So I think in Japan, the maximum time you can work per week is 24 hours.
Okay.
In part time. So I try to use as much as I can in the part time jobs.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So it was like quite safe, It was like was it like very safe and comfortable environment for you to do your part time job, as well as you are able to have enough time to manage your academics as well as your part time job, right?
Yeah. Like I said before, it was not a course specific master's program.
Right.
It is more like research based, right? So most of the time you might not be able to do your research on the time that you want to do, because it depends upon the equipment's condition and your professor availability, your lab mates availability and all. So based on that, I think you would have to manage accordingly. So that just try to, if you are someone who's going to earn by yourself, try to support yourself, I think I would say just try to maximize your part-time, the time you spend for part-times, and so that you can save more, and also just don't forget to do your research once in a while.
Yeah. Okay, Pavitran. So when it comes to doing masters, many people go to other countries like US, Europe, where they don't have any language barrier, right? Because English is the most spoken language.
Yes.
But when it comes to Japan, you need to learn Japanese. So how was the learning curve, and how did you overcome the barrier?
Yeah, it was really hard for me at least the first 6 months, because you would need a lot of vocabulary. You need to know a lot of vocabularies to sustain in a day-to-day life. And most of the system in Japan, it's not foreign friendly, I would say.
Right.
At least if you are in the main cities like Tokyo, Osaka, maybe you can see a lot of English version of information, but mostly it's Japanese. So it took me a lot of time to adapt. At first, I tried to learn from books, but that method did not suit me. And then I started to speak with whatever words I know, and then I listened to a lot of Japanese people speaking Japanese, and from that I improved my vocabulary. But if you are someone who is like learning Japanese if you are like a beginner in Japanese, I would suggest you some websites like Japanese Podcast 101 or Nihongo Mori in YouTube. It's a really good YouTube channel. Nihongo Mori, they have for all N5 and for all levels, they have grammar and vocabulary and everything. That's a really good channel. And learn from a lot of textbooks like Genki, and then there are a lot of textbooks that are available for Japanese. I would say that as the first step for a Japanese learner if you want. And I overcome by just practicing with whatever I know. So speaking with whatever you know is very important, because it will take a lot of effort for you to come out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Just try to be bold. Even though you make mistakes, don't worry. People are so polite. They'll help you to change. If you make some mistakes, they'll rectify you. They'll say that this is to try to say something different. They'll give you suggestions and all.
Right.
Just try to be bold, I would say.
Okay. So when it comes to job opportunities, do you think Japanese is very necessary? Is it is particularly necessary? Because a lot of aspirants might think that if you don't know Japanese, you can't get a job out there. Or is it the other way around? And how was the master's course? So master's course were entirely taught in English, or were there kind of it was a mix of Japanese as well as in English?
Okay, I'll go one by one.
Okay.
So job opportunities is that you would definitely need Japanese.
Okay.
So, but recently, since Japan needs a lot of foreign workers, they have in most of the job websites they have a separate section called No Nihongo Nihongo section. So there are some companies that are actually offering jobs for non-Japanese speakers, but it's mostly remote jobs.
Okay.
But if you want to get into a manufacturing industry or production industry or something in IT or in those fields, I would say you should at least need an intermediate level of Japanese skill. So yeah, most of the companies would definitely ask minimum entry in minimum intermediate or N2 or N1 level, but Japanese is very important. Right. Even if you get a job that has like minimum requirement for Japanese, but once you get inside the company, you would definitely feel that knowing Japanese might be really helpful. You would have that feeling. Right. Yeah. So yeah, first I would say Japanese is very important for job opportunity. Okay. It will just increase your
profile, and the visibility of your profile across,
and your capabilities to get a job in Japan.
Right. Okay. And second question was that was your curriculum and the way of teaching completely in Japanese, and how do you face that?
So most of my courses in Japan, that is mainly most of the courses will be offered in both Japanese and English. It's up to you. Some courses, it will be offered. Some English courses will be offered in just particular semester. Just if you want to learn that course if you really want to learn the course, just make sure to get that course in that specific semester.
Okay.
If not, I think most of the materials will be in English. At least in most of the public university, I would say. I'm not sure about the private universities, but in most of the top universities, you will have English, specifically English-based course. But in most of the public universities, I think a course will be offered in both English and Japanese as well. So just make sure to choose which semester you want to take that course specifically and in which language it is being offered.
Were there any cultural adjustments that you had to make, and how has Japan transformed you as a person? So, like the person how you were in India and the person how you became after you went to Japan.
Yeah. So there were a lot of cultural difference, I would say, from India
Okay.
to Japan. First, I would say is that Japan is very systematic,
Right.
right? So everything is done on time. Everything is just so in order that you won't have any confusions. Okay, and at first it was hard for me because in India we don't have time management, right? We don't, most of the time we don't follow. We just go by the approximate time to a specific place. But in Japan it's not like that. Everything happens as per schedule. You just have to like stick on to the schedule as much as you can, because you're not representing you're representing your whole country, right? To that person. So yeah, next is the how as a person I changed after going to Japan. The thing is that when I was in India, I was very dependent on with my parents. I would just, whatever they say, I'll just follow. And we all are like that, right? Most of us who are living with our parents, we are under this comfort zone. We don't realize those things, and we fail to appreciate whatever they are doing for us. And I realized all those things after going to Japan. The initial time was really hard for me because Japan actually humbled me down a lot. Right? It just made me realize how much incapable I was to be, to live by myself. I slowly realized all those things, and it was really hard time for me in the initial time. But yeah, Japan turned me into an independent person.
Okay, Pavitran. So finally, what would be the final piece of advice that you would love to give to aspiring students?
Yeah. So I would say don't give up. There's this interesting quote that I really like. This quote was it was said by Les Brown. He's a motivation speaker, and the quote goes like this: "It's not over until I win."
Yeah.
So I always say that inside my mind, so that I don't give up that easily. And so yeah, whatever you do, just have this concept of winning in your mind, and just work on it until you reach that place. And once you reach that place, just work more. The next I would say is from one of my professor. His name is Dr. Suresh Babu.
Okay.
And he gave me a book when I was in my bachelor's, and in the first page of the book, he wrote a quote in Tamil. I would translate that. He wrote this thing in Tamil. It's "Virichamai valandalum vergalai marakkade." Right. It is translated as how much ever you grow, don't forget your roots. Right. Don't forget where you come from. Right. So that is very important, because whoever you are, you should remember that once you reach a certain place, you should not lose yourself. Right. So with that, I'd like to
conclude. Nice. Yeah, nice talking to you, Pavitran.
Yeah, you
so to just reiterate the quote, it's not over until I win. And the second quote is that
don't forget your roots.
Thank you.
Thank you.